Welcome back to AutoCraft. Today we're on episode 30. Woo-woo! Nope, didn't want to do that. All right, well, that's what we're doing. And now apparently I'm flying backwards. So what are we doing today? Well, I'll tell you that the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start out over here in the shopping district because we got to spend some diamonds. There's a couple things that I've wanted to do for a while. This is really hard to fly backwards, by the way. And I just haven't done them. So over here. Hello? Sorry about that. Over here, there's a couple different buildings, and we need to stop by both of them. So first off, we're going to stop at the Fabageg Fox Den. Ready for it? What does the fox say? Ring ding ding. DMCA'd. Anyways, we have talked to Mechanic a little bit about the fox dens and building us one. So basically what we need to do is blah blah blah, leave a request form in the barrel habitat. So I need one of these. Okay, so let's put this in the barrel. I don't know where to put it, so I'll just put it there. And then here we need to do, so instead of the 25, because I'm getting two different styles of foxes, so I'm going to give him 30 diamonds for that. Extra diamonds, because, you know, if I'm going to go make him look for the white foxes, I'm going to need to pay a little bit extra. So yeah, there's one step, and now I'm going to get out of here. And the other piece, and this one we've been talking to Death about, but I really just need to make the formal request for it, is he is going to build us a villager breeder. So, blah, 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 question. I'll just do that, and then he'll tell me how much it costs. So, I think that is all of the things that I want to do over here. We might as well, while we're here, look at his contraption shop that he just released in his last video. If you haven't seen his last video, that's where he built this shop. Basically, he'll come and he'll build a bunch of redstone contraptions for you, obviously for a cost. Also some farms, right? If you want to not build your own and have him come build them, you can pay for that. So we're not going to buy any of that right now. I might actually end up buying a couple 3x3 piston doors from him just because I think they're fun, and I don't really want to learn how to do that. But that's the big things that we needed to start with. Now it's time to get back to the base. We got a lot of work to do before the end of the season, and 117 is coming fast. So we're going to get started on building today and see what happens. Bring you back once we're at the base. So I've been a busy little bee. Get it? Bee. Just kidding. Anyways, I really have been busy. So let's look at some of the things that I've done. So this is the Fox Den area that I just submitted. So obviously the Death Dealer plushie is going to have to go. I will get rid of that once I actually chat with the mechanic. And he already knows that this area is set for the Fox Den, and that he also knows that he has full creative control over it. So I'm going to let him kind of deal with that. The next big piece that I want to talk about is this pathing. So as you can see, it's slightly different than last week's episode, and that's because I really didn't like how it ended up. I also didn't like that when I was flying over it, the trees looked really teeny tiny. So I brought the trees up a couple of blocks and got rid of the light posts, and I did hanging lights, which I'm actually much more happy with, and I also added a lot more trees. So I was pretty happy with how this turned out now. Let me know what you think, if you liked it better the other way. I mean, honestly, I'm probably not going to change it back, but I mean, I'll always take criticism. So if you liked it better, let me know. And on that note, we are going to look over here. I know there's a lot to my left. We're going to get to that next, but right here is the villager breeder and purification area that I have marked out for Death. I already told him when we spoke about it that as long as he stays within these green lines, we're good to go, right? So I want the entrance there. I want the villager breeding back here, drop down into a zombie area where I can zombify them and then purify them, and then probably bring them out this door here. So we'll see kind of what that entails, and I'll probably end up meeting up with him to actually discuss it and maybe even record it. So we might get to meet with Death in one of our next episodes. Anyways, the big project for today is this building here. So I have been collecting materials like a madman. And honestly, I wouldn't say really like a madman because I am a hoarder and I had most of the materials already at my base. I only had to collect a few things. But what I wanted to do was kind of take a look down at how this is going to be laid out. So this is going to be the forge and blacksmith of my village. So we have, it's kind of symmetrical now. As you know, I like to build symmetrical things. So as of right now, it's a symmetrical build. I'm probably going to leave it that way. And basically what I'm looking at doing is 2 forges here and here. And then I'm going to have a blacksmith area in the back there. And then storage for villagers in each side, right? So one of them will have the armorers and one of them will have the masons. And basically the build will be built around them, but also I want it to be aesthetically pleasing. So the palette that we're going with for this is going to be basically stone, spruce, and blackstone. There's going to be mixed in detail and things like that, but basically I want to go ahead and get started on this right now. So I know it's a little early in the video for a time lapse, but I'm kind of feeling in the mood to build, and I think that we should just get right into it. Hope you enjoy the time lapse, and I'll catch you guys on the other side. Okay, pause. We gotta talk real quick. Everybody makes mistakes, you know? It happens. And sometimes you start building in a time lapse and you don't hit the record button. So let's just take a quick look. So it's not done, obviously, but I've done a lot, right? I started the forge area here. I started the forge area over here. All was going well. It was looking really good. And then I looked over and realized I was not recording. So I just wanted to take time out to kind of explain this building really quick before we continue the time lapse. And hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense kind of with what I'm going for. So basically this is going to be the masons and the armorers, I believe. And basically there's 2 forges, right? So the giant forge is here. And then there's going to be a blacksmith back here, right? So this is where the metal and stuff is made into items. This is where it's smelted. I have a lot of interior design ideas. Obviously, I have the floor done, which you didn't see in the time lapse either because I wasn't recording. And I'm quite happy with the layout of this building, but I really need to kind of get it right. And I'm actually really happy that a portion of the time lapse didn't record because I built this forge completely and I hated it. So I completely knocked it down to that point. And then I was going to like stop the recording, and that's when I realized I wasn't recording. So anyways, let's get back into the time lapse, and hopefully this time I remember to hit record. Well, that was a fun time lapse. Only took me, I don't know, around 8 hours over the course of 3 days. So I hope that you enjoyed it. I haven't seen the whole thing back yet, so I'm hoping that it turned out really, really great. But I really do like the build. And what we're going to do is do a quick flyover so that you can see. And I know that the build that I have now looks slightly different. There's a few things that I've changed from the previous time lapse. And I added a little bit more detail. I also added a little bit more structure up on this middle roof because I didn't like how low it was. I felt like the gap was too little. I also have started doing the decorations inside. So I finished the forges, at least for now. They haven't been actually decorated or anything. I also started the blacksmith area, and you can see I have some lava in here. I also have some campfires in the backs of these little mini forges. So there's going to be a lot of decoration work that I got to do, but the first place that I want to start is with this courtyard. So the courtyard, this is supposed to be fenced in, right? I want it to be kind of like a gateway, if you will. So I'm going to work on that now. I'm also going to add some more things like this, like I have the crate with iron in it. And I have some wood over here. I also need to go get some coal because basically you cook the wood, it turns into coal. Use the coal to fuel the fires. It's kind of the idea behind it all, right? So, but let's talk about real quick before I disappear and go back to decorating. I want to talk about the structure itself, right? So I obviously have 2 forges, one on the left and one on the right, the blacksmith in the center. And then these 2 pieces are going to hold villagers. So one of them will hold masons. The other one will hold, I believe it's armor smiths or toolsmiths. I can't remember. Whichever one has the actual furnace, the blast furnace as their block, will be the other one here. So I'm going to get working on decorating all of this, and I will bring you back once it's a little bit more complete. And here we have our completed build, at least for now. I always make changes kind of as I go and as I think about things. Plus, there's some future things that I want to do with I want to have a cart dropping some ores and things off out here, but until the landscaping gets completed, we are not going to build that. So let's show off some of the things that I added since the last clip. We have our wall here, which is a pretty simple design. I just wanted some sort of design to show that it's kind of a courtyard, and I didn't want it to be opened up to the rest of the land. When you go inside, we still have our crates, right? I threw some coal ore around just in little piles here. Over here we have our wood, where I added a wood chopping station to get it down into manageable areas. Here I have a pickaxe just sitting here waiting to mine the coal. So yeah, a lot of different little things. This is one of my favorites, a little hand cart here to pull the iron around. That was fun to make. In here, I don't know if I really showed this off yet, but I added some different like ores and stashes of different materials. Same with in the other side, but over here we are smelting different items, right? We got some diamonds, some redstone, all of that over here, and then the nether variants of those. Each of these rooms I have played with. I don't know what I'm going to end up doing ultimately to fix this. I don't like that the door is not centered in the room, but out there it is centered, so it's just goofy. I'm going to play around with these. They're probably going to change by the time that I actually get villagers in here. But for now, the big thing that I wanted to have is, I think I have 4 carpets, quadruple carpets here, so that mobs can't walk in here because they still spawn up on the roof. And once I put villagers in there, I really would rather them not get killed. And my favorite room of all is the blacksmith room. And you can see why I put a lot of effort in here with the little spinning thing that cools off the tools as they're made. Got some iron stashed over here, some gold and some coal. Different little things that a blacksmith would make. A couple blast furnaces, some iron doors. And over here I have the hammer, right? So as the blacksmith is making the tools, we could use the hammer. I originally made this with 2 axes and faced them back to back, but it looked silly and they were like colliding with each other, so it was like giving me crazy shakes on the axe, or on the hammer, which also I should probably call out that Clumsy called it a battle axe. So that was another reason why I wanted to change it. So I switched it up and I used an iron ingot as well as a stick to make it look a little bit more like a hammer. But yeah, I'm happy with kind of how this turned out. Definitely let me know in the comments what you think. It was a fun build. It did take a while, and as you saw in the time lapse, I changed things multiple times, but I'm ultimately happy with how the build turned out, and I think that I'll add a little bit to it as we go throughout the season. But welcome to the village, blacksmith and forge. I don't really. Maybe this building needs a name. I don't know. For now, we'll just call it the blacksmith because that seems to be the primary component here. So anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed the episode. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all those fun things. Also, don't forget to check out the other AutoCrafters. I appreciate everyone that stayed this long, and have a great rest of your day. Bye!